What's up, everybody? Excited to be back here. And man, it's been a couple weeks, hasn't it?
A couple?
Okay, maybe it's been a couple months. We've been all over the place. We've been out of, we've been all over. How many states you been to in the last couple months?
Shoot. 1, 2, 3 or 4.
3 or 4.
What about you?
I think only maybe 2 or 3.
You kind of went like the
Oh,
Oregon Trail.
I drove. That's right. I drove from Tennessee to Nevada. And
is it Nevada or Nevada?
It's Nevada. It's where you get your hair done.
I think that's Aveda. Whatever.
Just butchering this.
There's hairstyles like, no, it's Paul Mitchell.
I went out west. I headed away from New York. But yeah, so a couple different states. And then you recently hit Jocko's Muster, didn't you?
I did, yes. Jocko's Muster in Phoenix, Arizona.
Was that good?
10,000
I already know the answer.
Outside. Yeah, it was good.
It was good. No, tell me a little bit about that. What was just tell me a little bit about it. That's got to be an experience of its own.
It is. You know, it's one of those things I'm fortunate to go to all the time. I say all the time. This is my second time going, but I'm fortunate to be there.
When you got your third coming up too.
I do have a third coming up. I'm going to Vegas in October. But you always take something different. The fact is we're fed this information. As we're fed this information, there's so many pieces that you don't realize you didn't pick up on until you're sitting there and you're like, oh, whoa, hold up. He didn't say this last time. Well, he did. You just didn't hear it, you know?
You can only you can only take in so much.
Right.
It reminds me like when people like books, like we've covered this before and I'm going to cover it again. It's valuable. I listen to audiobooks and people say, well, I get distracted. And look, the average audiobook's about 8 hours.
Yeah.
You're just looking to take away one thing. It's going to take you like the next 6 months of your life to integrate it, and that's if you're badass. It might take longer.
Exactly. Well, and it's I compare it to movies, right? My daughter used to watch this movie all the time. It was something about a cat, and it was in a spooky house, or I can't remember the name of it. But I would watch the movie every now and then. I'd find myself looking up like to see what was going on, and there'd be a spot, and I'm like, "What movie is this?" You know, what's the same movie we've seen 97,000 times, or as my son said, 9711 times.
9711 times.
Right. And so I would see it and I'd be like, huh, this is different. And the same thing with the book, same thing with the muster, same thing. And I'll let you dive into kind of what you've been doing here.
Oh, yeah. So, so I've recently done some personal growth studies things and development courses, and that does remind. That's odd that you said it does. It does remind me about the fact that 11. Don't worry about the last number, but in general, we're taking in 11 million bits of information per second. So at any given time, like right now, if you're watching this video, if you're watching the video, did you notice and of course when I pointed them out, but did you notice the stars on the table? Yeah. Did you notice the logo on his shirt? My logo. Did you notice the symbol on the mic? Like it's just all of there's just so much at once that we're all taking in, but we're only processing about 126 bits of that information. That's all we can humanly process. And if it's 127 or you're a raging badass and you do 135, right. The point is we're missing more than we're ever catching at any given time.
Yeah, I feel like I'm the individual that take in like 136.
Yeah, you're like I'm way up there. Right. But the thing is what's really cool, what I learned is that so whatever your number is, don't worry. If you're 126 or 130, whatever. Okay. The point is there's a lot more. What's really cool is knowing that exists. Mm-hmm. You can go in and control where your focus is at any time.
Right. Right.
And so if that's true, if there's anything like people say, oh, I'm not good at studying. Well, not until you focus your 126 on it.
Yeah. No, that's crazy when you actually talk about that, because you are good at things that you put your mind to. You know, everyone says just put your mind to it and you'll figure it out. Yeah, there's a lot of truth to that, because putting your mind to it means that you're focusing, you know, on what it is you're trying to accomplish. And we all have those different levels of comprehension, and some may take longer to go through and say, you know what, that's right. The camera was black. It said Sony on the top. There was a lens that did this. And some people are just naturally gifted to where it's like, boom, that just, it fires. And they, photographic memory, you get what I'm saying?
And not even just, it's not just the visuals, right? Even what about the tonality? Have we paid attention to how fast I'm speaking in comparison to how fast Alex is speaking? What does that mean? I don't know. It's just data. It's just, the point is it does exist, but we don't even process those things. But once you create the realization or the acceptance of this, you can now begin to control what you focus on. And we all know what we focus on will grow.
Yeah. There's a saying. I used to have a mentor. Actually, he was a boss. He was the boss of me. And he always used to say something, your mind is like a camera, what you focus on develops.
Boom. That's it.
Yep.
What you focus on will develop. Or it said, what you focus on will grow. At all times, we're focusing on something. Right. At all times. We're focusing on something at all times. And we talked about, I'd like to say a couple weeks ago, but because we haven't been here in a couple months, a couple episodes ago, right. We talked about that. You're already like when we gave the episode, like guy cut you off in the car and like we think something negative about him, but we don't know if that's true. Like what if he's rushing his pregnant wife to the hospital or his son shut his hand in the door when they're loading up the car. We don't know. And we talked about like people say, well, but we don't know if he's actually heading to the hospital. The fact is we don't know either's a truth. Mm-hmm. You're going to focus on something anyway. You have the choice to pick what you focus on. And a lot of times we're focused on stuff that doesn't matter. Let me give you an example. Mm-hmm. I think it's worth talking about. I shared with my wife the other day. I used Elon as an example, Elon Musk, but whatever, pick whoever. I don't care. And I said, do you understand that he just selects something different? What gets his 126 is just that different than ours.
He's probably ringing on a little more than one. I would say he's probably the 130-ish.
He probably is a little bit more, but here's what I want to give you. And I don't know Elon. We haven't had dinner yet together.
Would you date him?
I mean, with like prenups and stuff.
I was going to say, I need the 126 on that question.
Like prenups my way. Do I get a free spaceship ride or
a Tesla? I'll settle for a Tesla keychain.
Okay, so but what I share with my wife, and I'm not actually saying Elon. For people that are going to go quote me and say, well, Greg said Elon. Okay, I don't know specifically Elon. Okay, but what I told my wife was like, that guy probably has 7 pair of underwear, and they're probably labeled, and he knows what day Monday's underwear are.
Right.
Like, do you understand? Like, we put value in, do we want the green or do we want the blue underwears? And should I get them from Walmart or should I get them from Aldi's? I don't buy my underwear for Aldi's. Stop saying that.
Dollar store underwear.
Dollar store underwear. Listen,
there's nothing wrong with dollar store.
I mean,
underwear.
if you wear underwear, I guess. No.
What if you don't? So I found this is side topic and totally unimportant to what we're talking about. But Under Armour makes these shorts that have underwear in them, which is amazing. It's like swim trunks, but to run in. But the only amazing part is I don't run, and I still get to wear shorts with no underwear.
There's a company called Bird Dog.
I've heard of them.
Okay, so I don't know what algorithms I've tripped off, but they're all over my feed. And I guess it's a trendy thing to wear shorts that have internal underwear. It makes me feel like a child, but I guess people are doing it.
Dude, it's awesome.
It's awesome. It's like, I got to get a pair.
It's like having a basket for your berries.
I guess I got to try these.
You do.
Next time Bird Dog comes up.
No, don't go Bird Dog.
Got to go Under Armour.
No offense against them.
Okay.
But there's a certain way an American company like Under Armour just embraces your man can alerts. It's like
it's got to be done made in America.
Right.
Okay, so why'd the tag say made in China though?
Why is that taking one of your 126?
Good point. But I share with my wife you take Elon, like, I mean, truly, I understand people think that he has some special gift and something. And if you do, I guess I won't. That's where your 126 is. But I had someone the other day that I was, there was a business opportunity. We won't go in depth in the detail. And to take on the business opportunity would cost $100 a month. What is a business? It doesn't matter. Okay. It's going to cost $100 a month. However, exponentially more amount of money would be made. And so I presented this business opportunity to the business partner at the time. And they said, oh man, that's going to cost $100 a month.
Right.
That's where they're like, I had the conversation with them that it's irrelevant. Like at the end of day 30, you have made so much more money. Like, why are we even like, how did your 126 show up there?
Yeah.
But it did. And if we really start disciplining ourselves and scrutinizing where our 126 goes, we're going to realize, me, speaker included, we're going to realize how much dumb shit we give our attention to.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause my response to that would have been, can I write you a check for a year in advance? 2 years, 5 years? Can I write you
I literally I said, look, your first commission check, you could just stroke off the year for $1,200.
Right.
And you'll still be up the first month.
When you have tax deductions that go with it, operating expenses. Like, I look at the depth, I'll give you an example, and it kind of falls into what you're talking about. We just switched homeowners associations in the neighborhood I live in, right? And they said, hey, you know what? August, things are messed up. You can either send us a money order, drop by a check. Those are your two options. And I'm like, okay.
And you accept nudie pics?
Right. Oh, for sure. but so it's $40 a month, right? And I'm sitting there, I'm like, what if this happens next month? And then I got to drive up there, and then I got to find a check. And I know where my checks are because I had to fly back to 1989 to find them. and that's what I told him. I said, hey, I don't have checks because of where I live. And
you're like, do you guys have Venmo?
Right. No, sir. So I literally wrote him a check for the year.
And we don't take cash. Right. We don't want that dirty paper.
I'm bringing you all coins anyways. Silver.
Right Kennedy, out of my coin purse.
Kennedy silver dollars. Kennedy silver dollars. But I literally, I wrote him a check for the year. Because mentally, I was like, I'm going to have to drive up there. What if they don't fix it next month? What if I have to find my checkbook again? Like, I could just write it for a year and be done. And some people look at it and be like, yeah, dude, but that's $480. Correct. But that's
11 more months of time, sanity, logistics.
Yes, exactly. My time doesn't have to be my gas, my time, my memory space. I have to take up a section.
Yes.
I tell people to think of their mind like a room, okay? So we're in a room right now. It's about 15 foot by what? Probably 12 foot, give or take. A little bit bigger than a prison cell. So I've seen.
So I've heard.
But if we take this room and we have all this equipment in here and we start bringing in, these huge boxes, these boxes of memory that says, hey, this is your HOA for next month. Remember this. And by the way, this is a person you're supposed to call tomorrow. Remember this. And your kid's birthday's over here and he wants a red bike. And don't forget about your car keys and your lunch and your dinner and blah, 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 blah.
It's getting a little cluttered.
All of a sudden your room's filled. And now you have to do what? You have to sacrifice some of your memories, right? Maybe that box of the bike your kid wants is underneath the box of your HOA fees. And you move that and you're like, oh, shoot. He wanted a red bike, not a blue one. I remembered bike, but I didn't remember red, And
we've done, I love that analogy. We've talked about in past episodes and bringing back to light, commit to what you're not going to do.
Right.
Like we're so focused on, and I won't say we as a society, but sometimes we get trapped in trying to keep everyone happy.
Yeah.
Do the right thing, be ethical, operate with ecology, operate with integrity, okay? And when you do all those things, everyone won't be, you're not going to please everyone.
Right.
I didn't say like, I don't care about the people that don't like me. I didn't say that. Okay, but everyone's not going to be pleased. If the measuring stick is everyone be happy, then are you sacrificing integrity? Are you sacrificing ecology? Are you sacrificing, okay? So commit to what you can't do.
Well, and you talk about everybody being happy. Here's the thing. Not everyone's going to be happy. I had lunch with somebody today, and during that discussion, part that came out was, hey, you know what? People will judge you, right? And they don't care. You could be rich and someone's going to judge you. You could be poor and someone's going to judge you. You could be middle class and someone's going to judge you. There's always somebody out there that's willing to judge you, willing to expend whatever attention that you deserve in a negative direction, and willing to whatever time you produce to give to them, they're just going to use it and they're going to leave it alone, and there's no value that comes out of it.
Time and energy vampires.
Blood.
They exist. No, but they do. While we're on that, while you brought that up, maybe I mean, there's energy vampires, and you gotta kill them with garlic and a spike. No,
really? How about a block?
No, but those energy vampires, those are the people, and I know I'm sure that you've encountered them, right? So some people come and they dump their problems on you, and you provide them with some soundboarding and some feedback and some insight, and they appreciate it. And next time you see them, they dump the same problems on you.
That's kind of like the buddy that will never leave the toxic girlfriend. You're like,
bingo.
You're like, bro, hey, look, here's all the negativity. And they're like, oh, man, I know. This is the last time. And then you try to call them the next day and no answer. And you text them, no answer. And you call them again, no answer. And you're like, hey, dude, what are you doing? Oh, dude, I'm with Sally again. And you're like,
yeah, and when we talk about commit to what you're not doing. Now, when he said buddy, right, just to clarify, because someone's mind's going to drift in that direction. When we say, well, like, what I'm saying is like the third or fourth time we do that, and it's probably not going to take me that long, but let's say you want to be kind. The third or fourth time we do that, we got to have a talk with him. Like, hey, Tom, I'm giving you the same advice every time. We can't do that no more.
Right.
And for those of you who say, well, what about Tom's your buddy? Dude, if you're hanging out and drinking beers, still, do you want to hear about the same toxic story over and again? And if so, crack a beer and be kind to Tom and listen.
Yeah.
But if not, tell him.
Well, and so I'm going to use this from a professional example, okay? like you and I, we have a line of respect. It's like, hey, bro, you got 5 minutes? Yep, I got 5 minutes. Boom, let's call, fire it up. We get it done. We hammer down on the conversation, and boom, when it's done, we go. Now you have some people that they say, oh, you know what? He needs me. He needs my business. And so they expect you, hey, Saturday night, 8:45 at night. Hey, can you do this pre-approval for me? Hold on a second. This person had no idea they wanted to buy a home yesterday. They just walked in your office at 8:43 and said, hey, I want to buy a home. Can we do it in 6 minutes? You know?
Yeah.
And I look at that and you start valuing time, right? Because I spend time with my family, which there's no monetary value that can take up for that. But I trade some of my time on a day-to-day basis to say, I'm going to support my family with this time trade for money. Right. Now, if you interfere, and don't get me wrong, I like helping people. But if you're a consistent person that says at 8:46 at night, I need your help right now,
you're becoming a vampire.
You're a vampire. It's time to pull them fangs. Well, no, but it goes back to prioritizing. It goes back to setting expectation. It goes back to the way we operate our business. And I go back to the hey, do you got 5 minutes? Because it's a respect of time. It's saying, hey, you know what? That's a really good thought. I know you want to buy a house, but we're going to do it tomorrow. And we're going to do it tomorrow because it's 8:46 at night, and my lender is probably putting his fucking kids to bed.
And first of all, I mean, yeah, we won't get too deep down the road, but yes, manage expectations for your clients, but then also for yourself, managing expectations to your business partners. But people, if you allow people to, so when we look at the focus on, I'm kind of all over, let me dial it in here. If you've determined what will get your 126, and you've heard me say that term, just meaning like what will get your attention is all I mean when I say your 126. What will get your attention? If you've determined what will get your attention, and I say this is what I'm going to focus on, it gets 126. So right now I have no clue. Dam. It's a dental dam. So if you asked me, I am in foveal vision. I am focused on this. I can tell you like everything. I can tell you how many ridges are on this thing. You guys don't know it's over here. I can tell you what ridges on here, but I don't know what's even like what this is right here. Like there's a little bit in peripheral, but I don't even know what this is because I'm so focused on this, right? So if that's what gets my 126, if that's what gets my attention, and Alex says, oh, hey, I got a piece of paper over here, I'm gonna have to let him know. Like if Alex is a friend, like maybe we can schedule a time to look at that. I'm not even taking my eyes off this. I might tell him like, hey, maybe we can schedule a time to schedule that paper. Or if Alex is not a friend, maybe let him know, hey, maybe I can connect you with someone that works with paper.
Well, wants to look at your piece of paper.
Wants to look at your piece of paper. But respecting yourself enough. Like Alex said, like helping people. We're going to help people. You're going to help people. Right. You're going to help people. Respect yourself first. You can't pour from an empty cup. Let people know what you can't do.
That statement in itself is extremely, extremely powerful. I mean, when you think about it, you can't pour from an empty cup, meaning I can't, and I'm going to dumb this down in a way I would have understood it years ago. I can't help you if I'm drained helping everybody else, nor can I help myself.
Can't. Then you're not going to help your family.
Right. So if you pour out everything, and that's why, and you know this to be true, and most of the close business partners I work with know this to be true, I select who I'm going to divide and work my time and who gets priority. Mm-hmm. Honestly, if you call me at 8:46, I'd probably say yes to you because of the fact that this is an urgent matter. Mm-hmm. Greg never does this. Greg needs me. I committed to helping him. But that person that does it all the time, it may be a voicemail. It may be a, hey, busy right now. I'll talk to you tomorrow. And you have to look to where to divide that, because at the end of the day, you have to have enough time for your priorities.
Have to.
I saw someone the other day in a Facebook group I'm in. It's one of the rental. They call it BRRRR. It's buy, rent, renovate, repeat, or probably not in that order. That's the way I would do it. Slumlord. No, but what this gentleman said on there was, I'm so obsessed with finding more properties that I find myself during my free time and all the free time I have focusing on the next property, driving through neighborhoods, looking for distressed homes, trying to find owners, and my wife and kids are getting sick of it. What would you guys do? I'm like, bro, why are we doing this? You're doing this for your wife and kids, right? So when you die, whether it be tomorrow or in 100 years or 1,000 years or in 6 days, whatever that looks like, when you die, did you spend the best amount of your time with your family, the person you're doing this for? Why are you trying to build this legacy and this empire for nothing? Because nobody remembers, yeah, Dad, he was great, he left us all this money, but he never spent time with us, right? The kids remember the dad that wasn't at the baseball game, or the wife remembers the husband that wasn't there to listen to the issues, or the husband remembers the wife that was too focused on her career, right? So dividing out that 126, saying, all right, you know what, I'm going to allocate this, and this, but when I'm here, I'm present.
I'm all there.
Right. I'm bought in. I'm present. I'm not going to be distracted. By the way, business partners, my 126 goes to my family right now. We'll talk tomorrow.
Correct. And then you let your people know 100%. Whether it be clients, whether it be business partners, referral partners, families, friends, associates, boss, coworkers, peers, authorities. You got to let them know. you got to set those boundaries, and that's the only way that you're going to deliver at 100% on everything you do every time. That becomes who you are.
Yeah.
That allows you to deliver your very best for people.
Yep.
And if you're delivering your very best for people, you're delivering your very best for yourself and for your family.
You ever see the guy in the gym? He's ripped, bodybuilder, huge guy.
I was in there this morning.
He's in there. He's like, I'm Superman. And he's always texting on his phone and everything. But you don't see the guy that's always texting on his phone that's big and ripped, because he's there to work out. He's not there to pay attention to the outside noise. If he's on his phone or she's on her phone, it's to switch to the next song to pump them up to get them going again.
That's right.
And why is that? It's usually the out of shape, overweight person that's sitting in there. Literally, I've been at the gym before, and there's people, they're talking on the phone, they're having a conversation, they're doing their little leg press, and they're like, you want to go out tonight, you want to drink some beers? It's like, bro, why are you even fucking here? Go outside and kick your foot up on the curb.
Just walk past and you're like failing at 126.
Right? Yeah. Had no idea. But you have to say it with like a demonic, you have to be like, you say it with a perverted, you're failing at the 126.
Just walk past and
whisper it in their ear. Whisper in their ear, lean over. You're not the 126.
He looks up. He's like, I know, man. I know. I suck at this.
Like 120. No, sir, I'm 255.
He's like, I'm focused on more. Yeah,
What are you at the circus? Are you guessing my weight?
But yeah, you have that's a big piece. I mean, focusing on, what was it you said? I said focus. What'd you focus on? Oh, the camera. What you focus on will develop.
Yep.
And so what do you focus on, and then setting those boundaries. One thing that I do, so I tell people, and if I've met you, you've already heard me say this, I'm sure of it, and you'll nod your head. When I first meet people, I set the expectations of how we'll communicate with each other. And one of the first and foremost things I'm asking them, how would you like to be communicated with? See, that's an important question.
Right.
But I don't get too far off track. What's important to know is I tell people, I say, if you call me, I probably won't answer you. I hear people say all the time, I'm always available. Are you?
Yeah.
I am not always available. Never. I'm not sure how long we've been on this podcast. I'm not sure how long we'll be on this podcast. I know my phone is somewhere in this 12 by 15 room, but I'm not exactly sure where it sits.
Yeah.
And so whoever has reached out to me via text message, email, or phone call during this podcast, I will follow up with you immediately afterwards.
Right. I've had missed calls. Literally my and I hate that my watch is tied to my phone, right? There's nothing like having a leash with a ball at the end. And this is a proverbial ball, right? And it's sitting here and it's vibrating. I'm like, voicemail, and guys, rewind back, put that 126 and you'll see me hit my watch to send it to voicemail. And it's because I'm here. It's just like when I go to lunches. I go to lunches with people, and I used to do this. I used to take my phone out and set it down and say, oh, I'm so respectful of your time, Greg. Flip it over. And you think you're comprehending that, hey, if I flip it over, that's letting Greg know. But Greg also knows my watch is tied to that, so it doesn't make a difference, right? I don't even pull out of my pocket anymore. Yeah. I sat at lunch today and did not pull my phone out of my pocket. Why? Because that's even more noticeable. People are like, does this dude not have a phone? Like, it's not sitting here. No, I respect your time. My phone's in my pocket because I don't care who calls. I'm here to talk to you.
And making sure, and the other side is, and you don't have to do this, you'll do whatever makes you happy, but letting people know when you like, stop telling people, I'm always available, call me anytime. Let me know if you need anything.
Yeah. That's
not true. I can't deliver upon that. So making sure I'm managing expectations properly as soon as I meet you. And again, if we've met before, you've heard me say this to you. But instead, so don't, when you're trying to keep everyone happy, like I don't want them to think that if they call, I won't answer. Right. Well, don't let them think that if you can answer the phone every time.
But that's also being desperate with your business. So here's the thing.
Well, but not. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
It is 100%, but you might be being desperate with your life, with your relationship, with your school,
Absolutely.
with your. So it might not just be in the business arena, although in this setting, 100%.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It could be in a situation where you're just you want to be there for everybody,
Right.
And guess what? When you're single and no kids and everything else, sure, yes, you could probably do that, and you could probably do that at a semi-efficient level. But the fact of the matter is, I know a lot of high-producing people in business, not just this business, in business. And they always discipline and set the expectation. Hey, I'm available from 5 to 7. And after that, I'm going to be with my family, and I will be available again at 9 a.m. tomorrow.
And generally speaking, whenever you've crossed that person, for anyone on you've crossed that person in business before. Whenever you've crossed that person, do they not deliver every single time?
Right.
You know when that guy says like, I'm only available from this time to this time and on this day and this thing. Yep. And you're like, well, how? Whenever you've crossed that guy in business, he delivers every time.
Yeah. And it's factual. And the reason why is because they too work with high level people that are interested in the success and share the same thought process that allows them to deliver at that level. So they say, hey, Greg's only available from this time to this time. I'm only available from this time to this time, but I'm going to communicate with Greg directly. So when he is ready, he knows. And by the way, my client knows that. So my client's not calling me at 8:45 at night and saying, hey, I know I've been kicking it around for 6 months, but I'm ready to buy a house now. And I'm going to offer him under asking price. By the way, there's a lender I hit up online, and I'm going with them too. But what's your rate? It drives me up a wall. And I say that only to say that if you divide that out and divide out your time and everything, you want to do so to deliver the best possible product. Don't catch me at my worst time and then expect me to deliver the best. If I'm standing there and I'm saying, hey, what's up? By the way, I'm in an area where I can't hear you, and I'm at my daughter's softball game, and it's 9,000 degrees. Like, I'm not going to give you my best. Why do you deserve that anyways?
And let me. I'm going to tag onto your analogy from earlier and elaborate a little bit. How many rooms are in this? 1. I'm going to call it quarter 2, 3, 4. This is 5, 6, 7, 8. So if we don't count the hallway, I'm going to say there's 8 rooms in this building, other than the secret one I don't know about.
It's in the bathroom.
There's that closet, or it says it's closet, but there's always those sounds.
Nobody's coming out of it.
So eight. This building has 8 separate rooms in it, and some of them are larger than the 12 by 15. Some may be smaller. Okay. My point is, so I'm going to tag on the analogy. So we brought all these boxes in here, right? And the room got way too cluttered, and then we couldn't manage, and nothing could be focused on, and the balls started dropping. The blue bike became a red bike.
Right.
What if? Did you like that big breath of oxygen?
I like when you said balls started.
What if you took the boxes from in here and we compartmentalized them in the 8 different rooms?
That's kind of like what I do in my office now.
Well, and that goes along that idea with when I'm doing business with you, I'm not on the phone. When I'm on leisure, we're not doing business. Right. When we're doing coaching or whatever the next piece is, we are in that area. Yeah. And that's the thing. It's not that we're doing less or gaffing certain things off, but if everything's important,
nothing's important.
Nothing's important.
Yep.
But if you can compartmentalize over here, this is the important thing, and I know that I have something over here that's important and something over here that's important. Well, when I get right here, I know I don't have to focus on these at all. I know they exist in the other room. I know exactly what room they're in. So right now they get 0 attention, and that allows me to focus. And you can do that by compartmentalizing each area and focusing on setting proper expectations, focusing on what areas are important, and delivering.
Well, and Jocko says this, and I say this.
He says, "Good,
fresh from the muster." So I'm jacked. No.
Dude, I still haven't been. I saw everyone. I still haven't been to Jocko's mustard. I'll make it out there though.
You need some of Jocko's mustard in your
life.
Some
Jocko's mustard.
Right. I'm just going to stop there. But what he says is prioritize and execute, right? Identify what a priority is. Say, hey, this, now, done, boom, execute. And then move on to the next thing. And then continue to do so until everything's chopped down and you're done. And that prioritizing may not mean that everything on your list has to be done right now, today, right this minute. Let's get it done. It's, you know what? I can deal with that tomorrow. This has to be done. This is a priority. By the way, I got to call that person on Monday. I tell people this all the time. If it's not on my schedule, it doesn't happen. Even this podcast, we schedule, right?
Oh, yeah.
And the thing is because now you have to prioritize. You say, all right, Podcast. Yep.
Something else doesn't get the slot on Friday. Like it could be viewed. Someone could. We don't. If someone could view it as, so if we book podcast Friday from 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock, whatever the case may be, then 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock, not to mention my drive time here, my drive time after, plus if we have any meeting time, so on and so forth, that's blocked out. So when someone says, hey, can I do this real quick? No.
Yeah.
No. Don't give them that time and then call the person that you scheduled the podcast on and be like, hey, man, I got this other thing going on. Right. You don't have that time. And in that manner, you begin to respect what's a priority, and then you can execute.
Yep. And that's the thing, the time aspect of it. I called you when I was leaving the lunch meeting because the lunch meeting ran a few minutes over. I'm like, hey, dude, on my way. Blah,
promptly,
blah, blah, blah.
this.
It's laying out. Here's what's going on. I'm going to be there. I respect your time.
Here's
apologize.
The code. Get inside. Get this going.
Let's get rolling. And, I do the same, especially on high-level individuals. Title companies, doctor's office, any of those. Well, not doctor's office because I don't have to call to tell them I'm late because I do them on the phone. But anyways, any of those things you call, hey man, sorry, I'm going to be about 5 minutes late. Most people are like, bro, I can slide in there 5 minutes late. They don't care. Yes, they do. I promise you, because I'm the type of individual. If you say I'm going to call you at 1 o'clock and when a 1 rolls around, I'm going to say, all right, yeah, 1:01, okay, cool. 1:05, and I'm starting to get frustrated. And I'm like, 1:05, I got that person I got to talk to at 2. I know you're going to talk to me for an hour. We're now at 2:05. Now I'm late for my next one.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it's 1:10, and you're like, all right, you're going to voicemail now.
Yeah.
Now the conversation, I can't cut you 10 minutes short, and I can't be 10 minutes late to the next one.
I can't. What about, and I don't know if I want to say this to you. Okay, I don't know if you'll say it to your client or not, but what about you tell them, I can't allow myself to disrespect my time. Yeah. I'm on a mission right now. I have to, this is not about you. This is bigger than you and me. I made a commitment. This commitment's to my clients, to my family, to the future people that I'll meet, that I was going to respect my time. And right now, if I go against it, I won't be respecting my time. I don't know if that's the literal conversation you will have with someone, but I wanted to have that literal conversation with you.
Well, and if you think about it, dude, so many people are afraid of doing that, right? So many people are like, oh, I can't say that. They'll go somewhere else. Good.
Like 7.85 billion people on this planet.
Right.
Let your people show up. Make room for your people.
Yeah.
Stop having the place crowded because people that don't want to support you are there, and you're trying to make them happy.
Yeah.
And you're wondering why life's so hard.
Oh, dude, I heard this was powerful, and every time I hear it in this song, I hear it in this song. And he says, I'm in a room full of lonely people. He's in a room full of people who are lonely. In a room full of people. Like, think of the depths of that. Like, now this is what people do. We say, hey, you guys, let's fill up the room with a bunch of people we don't care about. And a bunch of people we don't acknowledge, that don't acknowledge us, that don't pay attention to us. But we got a room full, right?
There's a whole room full, right? And we can get a good angle with the camera, and everybody, there's 28 people in the room, whatever it is, 50, 1,000. Yeah. It's not about, I'm not challenging. You'll do is what you seem right. It's not about going out and weeding the garden, and you might need to. I don't know. But it's not about going out and offending people like, you don't belong in my tribe. Get out of here. It's about staking up true north, and the people that don't like it, not disrespecting them. They're allowed to not like it, and then allowing them to drift away, and allowing room to be there for people that want to come and support you. Like, there's people, 7.85 billion people on this planet. No matter what your weird is, there's a few other people that are into your weird. And they will show up. That's weird. That's weird. Especially my weird. So they will show up, okay? But here's the deal. They will show up, and they want you to win. They want to be part of your win. They will help you win just so they can say they were part of your win. Yep. But you're only going to get that true synergy when you post up that true north, when you allow the people that are supposed to fade away to fade away. I didn't say kick them out. Just allow them to fade. Every time they go to fade away, you're like, oh, what did I do wrong?
Yeah.
Let them fade away. You didn't do anything wrong. You were you.
And that's the natural progression. You know, when you see that, when you really, really see that, when you're a single guy that gets in a relationship and then she gets pregnant. She's pregnant. And all of a sudden everyone's like, oh, shit. They're going to have a kid.
Gotta go.
Hey, can you go out to the bar? Nope. Oh, all right. I'm going to find somebody else that will. I swear to God, dude. Get somebody pregnant. Not literally, but get someone pregnant. And watch how your friends list empties out.
It's 100 people watching the show. Like, I just gotta go get somebody pregnant.
Alex told me not to to wear rubber. No, I didn't. But seriously, when that happens, that life-changing event, right? The event that everybody that is around you, that surrounds you, should be super excited for you, you'll see that room start to empty. If you picture, and I'm going to date myself a little bit here. Not that I wouldn't date myself. I would.
Take myself out.
I'm going to date myself from an age standpoint. But like MySpace. If you could take MySpace and you see that top 8 start to dwindle down to the actual 2 that still care.
We miss Tom.
Tom, please come back. Tom, baby, come back. But when you see that dwindle down, that's the true.
Tom and Mark are dating.
Right. God, those are ugly kids. But when you look at that and you see that dwindle down, like imagine that. If you can actually visualize the people that truly care about what it is that you succeed, what it is you fail at, what it is you do in life on a regular basis, imagine that top 8 and all of a sudden those people start drifting away and you're left with a top 2 or maybe a top 1 or maybe a top none.
It's possible.
Because a lot of us have those friends that are just as big of cheerleaders for us to fail as they are to succeed. And what I mean,
misery loves company.
Loves it. And that's that buddy that's like, bro, come on. We can go out tonight, dude. Just call in sick to work tomorrow. What, you going to pay my fucking bills?
Yeah. Misery loves company. When people, and I'm the person that, whoever you are, the person that wants to better themselves, I'm talking to you. If you're the person that's creating the misery or desiring the company, I mean, there's something that's got to shift. That's a whole nother episode. That's a whole nother day. But you have to cut off. There's people that are not interested in improving themselves.
Right.
And while they're not going to have that candid conversation with you, it's really important that you don't outgrow them. And they're gonna convince you and root for you and sell you to lose in a way that's packaged very pretty. They're not evil people. They have something to unpack themselves. They're not like, that's just where they're at in life. You may have been in that place in life. You may be in that place in life. Just be aware of them. Maybe help them by, maybe you have a conversation with them. Maybe you hook them up with a nonprofit, whatever. I don't know. Get them connected with someone in one of the group or an organization you're involved with. But there's people that are hanging out and secretly rooting for you to lose only because they love you so much. They need company. They have no interest in growing.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of truth. There's a lot of depth behind that. At the end of the day, those that surround you should support you, should want you. Like, I want people to do better, please, because I'm going to follow you. If you outgrow me, I told somebody this yesterday. I did a podcast yesterday. Basically, I cheated on my own podcast. I was on somebody else's. It's kind of weird.
It's kind of weird.
He was better looking. He did have a better radio voice than me, though. I was impressed. He's like, and we're here without. I'm like, holy shit.
You're like, damn, bro, tone it down a little bit.
You been on the radio before? Is your name Howie?
You're over there. You're like, hold on one second.
Right. I got a frog in my throat.
Yeah.
No, I forgot what I was talking about.
Shit, I'm sorry. That's funny, though.
You're good.
Let's see.
Something about people's success. Oh, here's the thing. I told him yesterday, I said, look, you can come and we can work together, right? And you can decide I want to do something better for myself. And I'm going to do it. I'm going to clap and cheer you on if you decide to separate and go do your own thing and accelerate, because I can look at you and be proud because you did something to better your life. And then I can pursue that because I can remember the individual I sat side by side with that we were just the same, but they did something different. They made a different decision. They went a different direction, and now they're more successful because of it. And why didn't I do that? Right?
Mm-hmm.
So instead of criticizing, maybe I criticize or critique, I should say, myself. And say, hey, he puts his pants on the same way as I do, backwards. And
I hope.
Right.
Is there any other way?
I mean, how are you going to sit down?
How do you poop?
Right. You unzip the zip, right? Isn't that what it's for? It's a pressure release system for your gas.
That's what I thought.
Speaking of gas.
Speaking of gas, all right.
Well, I've been thinking of this brilliant post, right, on Facebook. I'm like, I'm going to post this on Facebook. And then I chicken out every time I start. And it's like, hey, you want a free COVID test? Get in the car with your family and fart and roll the windows up. Sorry. I couldn't share that on Facebook, but I could definitely
share it on the podcast.
Right.
You guys got it.
This will circulate further out than my friends list.
So I know I feel bad for the wife that gets called into the car this evening.
Right. But if she's but if she doesn't go for her window, you're like, you're sick. Get out. Get out. Literally. Either you're sick or you're sick.
That's great. Yeah, you're sick or you're sick.
Right.
I didn't volunteer to show up for that weird. Hey, let me leave you with this. So share Share what you're passionate about with others. Share what that thing is. The more you share that, the more you allow your tribe to show up. And the people that the misery loves company people. Okay, again, we're not judging those people, right? That's where they're at in life. The misery loves company people. They will be too uncomfortable to show up. They will be one of the people that fade away when you're sharing your passion, when you start growing. The people that want to be part of that journey will show up, and the people that don't want to be part of that journey, they will naturally fade away.
Yeah.
So I say that to say, share your passion with people. Verbally, emotionally, physically, share your passion with people. And if you don't know what you're passionate about, this one's a good one. This one's really good. Some people say, I don't know what my passion is. Listen, your passion is what you're passionate about. Listen, think about that. Listen to what I'm saying. You're passionate about it. You don't have to worry about finding it. You will find each other. You just haven't yet. Don't worry about it. There's nothing you need to do. You're passionate about this thing. Even though you don't know what it is, you're passionate about it. There's nothing you need to do to find it. You'll find each other.
Yep. That's great. In closing, the only other thing that I have that I can throw in here after that greatness.
Boom. Let's hear it. What you got?
No, I mean, this ties into what you're saying. Is tell people what you're passionate about, but also tell people what your goals are, right? Oh. Because the fact of the matter is people will hold you accountable for your goals. When I was buying my car, my M6, I told my mechanic, he's like, what's next? I'm like, M6. What do you think? You know, and I told him that. And so a few months go by and I go back in. He's like, when are you getting your M6? I'm like, oh, I hate you. Why do I hate you? I hate you because you're holding me accountable for what I told you. Right.
Yeah.
And so a few months go by and he's like, whatever happened to the M6? I was like, bro, I didn't hit my goal. I missed my goal. And I held myself accountable not to do it anyways. Right.
Yeah.
But the following year comes around and I hit my goal. And I bought it. And he's like, you hit your goal?
Yeah,
he's like, you hit your goal? I'm like, yeah, it's a turd that's out there.
You heard it, didn't you?
Right, exactly. You heard me roaring in here. Don't play stupid with me, Brett.
You fucking know, Brett.
Right. But no, so you tell people that, and your true allies, your true friends will hold you accountable and say, hey, you know what? Bro, you said you were going to be a motivational speaker, and you're just a speaker at Waffle House.
I'm motivating, though.
Do you want them, what, covered, smothered, flipped, script?
Smothered, flips, dipped, I don't know.
Right, just the tip dipped. Anyways, thank you so much. I know we took a hiatus here. Look, you know that we did a lot from a growth standpoint, and we hope that you forgive us, or we know that you will, because of the growth that we can now provide to you.
We're going to provide more growth.
Absolutely. And there's no question about it. Again, we thank those of you who faithfully tuned in, because I see the numbers in the background. I'm like, hey,
that's awesome.
We lost 6 people. Now we're down to 2.
Like, damn it, we got to send Tom a letter.
Yeah. I need to be in everyone's top 8. I want to design my page for you to land on.
Well, I appreciate everyone for being on here, and make sure, as we said before, send us feedback. What can we talk about? What will add value for you? And we look forward to being on here next time.